Here we go. There we go. Now we. Am I late? Yes. 15 minutes late. But we're what? 12 hours away? 12 hours away from the start of the PGA Championship. It's time to go. I got my bets locked in. How many bets here? I got my sheet here. I don't have any graphics ready. I was rushed today. I'm already 15 minutes late. 19 bets ready to go for the 2025 PGA Championship at Quail Hollow. My friends, this might be the easiest betting golf tournament of all time, or we're all going to lose a ton of money. And this stream is going to be relatively short. Number one, the Leafs game starts in 45 minutes. Number two, I don't have anything to say that you haven't heard already, because we're all of us bettors are going to be treating this event the exact same way. We're all just going to bet on long drivers. That's what's won here in the past. Rory McIlroy's won here 4 times. He's one of the best drivers on the planet. It might be the most horses for a course of all time. It's long drivers. It's past history. Even though it's a major, I don't like a major going to an event to a course that has a PGA Tour event every single year, because we know it. We already have that with the Masters, even though, it's not a PGA Tour event, but we see the Masters every single year. We don't need to see a PGA Championship course. We don't need to see the PGA Championship played at a course that we see every year, especially one that's as straightforward as Quail Hollow. If you haven't already heard, if this is for some reason the first piece of PGA Championship betting content that you've watched or listened to all week, I'll keep it simple. Bet on long drivers. That's what does well at Quail Hollow. The best drivers will play well. The longest drivers will play well. Length, a little bit more important than accuracy. Probably actually significantly more important. You just bomb it. You bomb it on basically every single tee at Quail Hollow. And all of my bets have that in mind. We are going to target bombers. And every single other bettor that I have watched and listened to this week, all have said the same thing. Which leads us all to very similar picks. So one of two things is going to happen. We're all going to win a ton of money together, or some rando out of nowhere is going to win and we're all going to lose. If driving distances ends up being the deciding factor, we'll all win money. If some random guy who's not a long driver wins, we're all going to lose together. So I got some picks. I'll try to get my graphics ready to go here. But all my picks are basically what you've probably seen from other people. Starting with my number one outright pick. Now, thankfully, I jumped on him before his odds completely collapsed. I know some people who got even better odds than this, but Bryson DeChambeau, 12-1. If Quail Hollow is all about the longest drivers and the best driver, why would you not just bet on the best driver in the field? I know Rory McIlroy is a fantastic driver, but Bryson DeChambeau's driving is truly on another level. If you look at datagolf.com and you look at true strokes gained, he's gaining 1.97 true strokes off the tee per round over the past 6 months, which is 0.8 more, almost an entire stroke more than Rory McIlroy, who's second on that list. So if you're not betting on Bryson DeChambeau, you're either seeing something that no one else is seeing, or you're being a hipster contrarian. Now, I could see if you have not bet on him yet and you don't want to bet on him at, what's his current price? FanDuel's current price is 7-1. I wouldn't blame you not wanting to bet on him at 7-1. I think DraftKings might have his best price. That's where I got 12-1 on Monday morning. He's now 9-1. I would probably still pull the trigger at 9-1, to be honest. And I see everyone else is on Bryson DeChambeau. And why wouldn't you be? It's no secret. So that's my top outright pick. So I'm going with one of the favorites off the top. I think you can't go wrong with Scotty Scheffler. You can't go wrong with Rory McIlroy. You can't go wrong with Bryson DeChambeau. Actually, one of my bets that I'm going to give out on the show. I'll get to that later. My other outright bet, I'm going a little bit off the board here. Let him cook Min Woo Lee 90-1. By the way, if you're watching this live, give me your picks in the chat. If anyone in the chat gives me a pick that I like, I'll jump on it with you. Min Woo Lee at 90-1. If you want to bet on long drivers, why not Min Woo Lee? He has a win this year. I know it was in Texas. It was an event basically nobody played at. But he has a win already this season, only like a month ago. He's, 4th, 5th on the PGA Tour in driving distance? Let me actually bring up Data Golf here. See where he ranks in the field in driving distance over the past 6 months. Distance, he is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8th in the field in driving distance over the past 6 months. Really 7th. This guy named Andre Chi, I'm guessing this is an amateur that's playing this week, ranks 6th. Min Woo Lee, so 9th in the field or 8th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8th in the field in driving distance this week. He's good around the greens. He has a good short game, which should translate to a Quail Hollow that's set up for a major. Why not at 90-1 Min Woo Lee? Now, does he have the balls to win a major? Probably not. But if I'm basing all my bets off driving distance this week, which I am, why not bet on the guy who's 8th in the field in driving distance? A guy who does have the talent and skill to at least contend. Now, the smarter move would probably be to bet on him top 10 or top 20, but 90-1, I'll sprinkle. That's my second outright bet. My third outright bet is just completely off the board. This is me chasing a high. This is me chasing the high of winning Brian Harman at the Open a couple years ago, 120-1. This is me saying, let me double that and some. 300-1. Could I interest you in a 300-1 outright? Nicholas Norgard. Now, there are somewhere places that I've seen it's written out Nicholas Norgard Mahler, but on the PGA Tour website, and I think just on the PGA website, it is just Nicholas Norgard, no Mahler. So I don't know what the issue is there. But driving distance, 4th in the field in driving distance this week. It is Bryson DeChambeau, number 1. It is Rory McIlroy, number 2. It's a guy named Marco Penge. Must be, he's a DP World Tour guy, number 3. Nicholas Norgard, number 4 in the field this week in driving distance. He also did well at last week's Myrtle Beach Classic. Now, it was the Myrtle Beach Classic. All the good golfers were playing in Philadelphia. But he did finish T5 at the Myrtle Beach Classic, gained strokes in all 4 major areas. Now, should you bet on him to win a 301? No. But actually, I think I have somewhere. I did write an article on this, so you can kind of dive into it a little bit deeper. Do I have that tab open? No, but I can. You can bet on him a number of different ways. Oh, I didn't write 300-1. Top 30 plus 350 plus 40, top 40 plus 190. Make the cut minus 115. So a ton of different ways. But if you want a cheap DFS option, if you want to bet a guy plus money to finish in the top 40, why not bet on one of the longest drivers of the golf ball? If that is what ends up being important. And once again, if it is not, if driving distance for some magical reason is not important this week, I'm fucked. Truly. Actually, you want to know what's actually going to fuck me this week? You'd think I would learn from my mistake. No. If you all remember Pebble Beach Classic, I sent out a tweet going heavy on no hole-in-one. I had some reasons. I was led astray by misinformation from the PGA Tour official media guide. And then by the time I woke up on Thursday morning in the first round, a hole-in-one had already occurred. And there ended up being 2. I think Rory McIlroy and Shane Lowry both got holes-in-one that week. I'm back on it, baby. No hole-in-one at the PGA Championship at Quail Hollow. I bet it twice. I think the first one was minus 163, either that or minus 168. I don't have the exact bet in front of me. Second time was minus 160. So I've placed 4 total units now on it. If it loses, I will have to sell my computer and my camera to get the money back. It took me actually a long time to dig into hole-in-one history at Quail Hollow. And if the information I found is correct, there has been just 6 holes-in-one over the past 20 events that have been hosted at Quail Hollow. That includes 19 versions of the Wells Fargo and 1 PGA Championship. So if 6 holes-in-one have occurred across 20 events, my math might be wrong, that's an average of 0.3 holes-in-one per tournament. That means there's a 30% chance that a hole-in-one occurs when a tournament is played at Quail Hollow, which means there's a 70% chance of one not occurring. If there's a 70% chance of one not occurring, and those odds are correct, then that would be minus 233, is what the true odds should be, based on the history at Quail Hollow for a hole-in-one to take place this week. So if those are the true odds, minus 233, and we're being offered a minus 160, minus 163, how could you not hammer that? Now, the issue with that thinking is I don't know if a 20 tournament sample size, when across several years, the course probably set up a little bit different. Things change. PGA Championships now in May, it used to be in August. 2017 version of it was in August. I don't know how much you can actually take away from a 20 tournament sample size, but I'm going to take a shot. There's enough of a difference there between what the odds are being posted and what the odds are of it happening so far that I'm going to take a shot. I'll go no hole-in-one for all the marbles, pushing all my chips to the middle of the table. If that loses, I'm going to need like DeChambeau to win so I can just walk away even. All right. What else we got? First round leader, obviously a fun one for tomorrow. I'm going to go Jon Rahm for my first round leader at 30-1. Basically, I like Jon Rahm this week because he's a long driver and he has actually been very consistent this year. He doesn't have a win yet in 2025, but he's been consistent. His worst finish was at the Masters, but that was a bad first round, so maybe I shouldn't be betting on him first round leader. But basically, I just wanted Jon Rahm action, but I couldn't get to any full tournament bets for Jon Rahm. So I'm just going to go first round leader. Long driver, has been playing well lately. 30-1. That's how I'm going to play Jon Rahm. This is not really this is not like a bet on a guy who's always playing well. You should just bet Keith Mitchell, to be honest. But this is not really a bet on a guy who I think's set up well for first round success. He's just a guy who I want to bet on, but I couldn't find any other way to bet on him. Stupid reason for me to bet on him, but that's what I came to. All right, make the cut. Garrick Higgo to make the cut at even money is my favorite make the cut bet. He already has a win this season. He won the Corrales Punta Cana Championship. He's a lefty who I have a soft spot for. He's also one of the longest drivers in the field. Obviously, every single guy I bet on this week is going to be a long driver. So I'm hoping his length off the tee and his success to date this season is going to be enough for him to at least make the cut. Now, you have to keep in mind the PGA Championship to make the cut a lot different than the Masters, but 156-man field, a good portion of those guys are PGA professionals, who the large majority of them will miss the cut. So anyone who's an actual PGA Tour player, you can kind of count those guys as already going to miss the cut. So it's not the Masters where like 2/3 of the actual golfers make the cut, but I still feel pretty confident in this bet. I looked at him in the top lefty market too, I think. Couldn't quite get there for Garrick Higgo for the top lefty, but I do like him to make the cut. Miss the cut. We're keeping with the same strategy. Miss the cut. If I'm going to bet on golfers who are long drivers, then to miss the cut, I will bet on golfers who are short drivers. A couple of different options I thought about here in the spot. I almost went Tom Hoge. If you want to get aggressive, you can, target some really good iron players who are short off the tee. You could target Colin Morikawa, who I wanted to bet on him and missed the cut. Let me see Morikawa's odds. Missed the cut. Tournament props. I'm not going to be able to find this now, am I? Make missed cut. Here we go. To miss the cut, Morikawa's got to be, what, 4-1? Plus 360 to miss the cut at DraftKings. I haven't played it yet. To be honest, I might. But my actual bet to miss the cut, if you want to go a little bit of a safer route, Christian Bezuidenhout, which is how I pronounce it. Which I looked it up a few years ago, and I saw that people the actual pronunciation, I believe, is Bezuidenhout, but I hear everyone call him Bezuidenhout. I think it's Bezuidenhout. One of the shortest drivers in the field this week, obviously. Where's my notes for this? 176th out of 185 golfers on the PGA Tour in driving distance. Only 286.4 yards off the tee. He's also in horrific form. He finished T19 at the API earlier this year, but then since then, he hasn't finished better than T42. So he's also missed the cut in 4 starts since the API. So not only do you have a guy who's coming into this tournament in bad form, but also bad form plus a nightmare stylistic course form. Love this bet at minus 115. I also have a make the cut parlay. Now, I have to, unfortunately, make a I have to admit something about my make the cut parlay. Is this graphic going to show up? Or is it too many names? No, it shows up. There you go. And actually, let me toss in the odds. The odds are... cut off my bets page. I'm not even logged in. You'll see in the list of the players I put into for the Make the Cut parlay, you will see that I have a player named Rasmus Niergaard Peterson. Obviously, that was a mistake. It is a mistake that Cam Stewart talks about that he's made in the past. Love Cam Stewart. I have now been a victim of that mistake. I meant to put in the guy Niergaard, Rasmus Niergaard. No, hold on. Who is it? I meant to put in Nicholas Norgard Mahler. Instead, I put in Rasmus Niergaard Peterson. The Danish names are unbelievable. You have Højgaard, Rasmus. You have Rasmus Højgaard, Nikolai Højgaard, Rasmus Niergaard Peterson, Nicholas Norgard Mahler. It's too much. The odds on this are a little over 16 to 1. 1656. It is Rasmus Niergaard Peterson, who I meant to put as Nicholas Norgard Mahler. So if he fucks me, if this Rasmus Niergaard Peterson fucks me this week, I'm going to be pissed. I have to ride with it. The bet's been placed, unfortunately. I can't undo a bet. It is Rasmus Niergaard Peterson, Taylor Pendrith, Minwoo Lee, Bryson DeChambeau, Tommy Fleetwood, John Rahm, Keith Mitchell, and Dean Burmeister, all to make the cut at plus 1,656. The Danish names finally got me. I have 2 Taylor Pendrith bets. I like Taylor Pendrith, the Canadian, to finish in the top 20 at plus 360, and I like him to finish as the top Canadian at plus 350. If this was a few months ago, I'd be betting Taylor Pendrith to win, but he's in horrific form. But he is a perfect fit for Quail Hollow. He's one of the longest drivers of the golf ball in the field. He has good course history. He finished T10 at the Wells Fargo at this course last year. And I think he can finish as the top Canadian because Corey Connors is not necessarily long off the tee. Now, Connors does have, I think, a T12 at this course before. But he's a pretty significant favorite. I think Pendrith, if he can find some form at a course that fits his style of play well, I think Pendrith can be the top Canadian. I think he can finish top 20. My favorite prop, actually outside of no hole in one, because I guess that's a prop. 21 plus players to finish under par at plus 125. I've predicted the winning score this week to be minus 16 because there's a couple things you need to keep in mind. I think it was minus 7 when Justin Thomas won here in 2017, but you have to remember that version of the event was held in 2017 when it was still in August. The event is now in May. In August, the summer sun, was able to bake out that course, bake out the greens a little bit more. Now it's in May, and it's in May after an entire week of rain. It's going to be soft. It's going to be scoreable. And I don't think it's a stretch for 21 or more players to finish under par for the week. I like that bet at plus 125. A bet I kind of alluded to earlier. Now, I wanted to, and if someone actually can find this, let me know. I wanted to bet a trifecta of Scheffler, McIlroy, DeChambeau to finish in the top 3 in any order. I could not find that bet anywhere. So instead, I'm betting Scheffler, McIlroy, DeChambeau, one of them to win at plus 110. I think there's a better than 50% chance one of those guys win. And outside of those 3 guys, I truly don't think, I think Jon Rahm can win. I think Justin Thomas can win. Outside of that, I don't know if maybe Xander, if Xander kind of dials in his driving a little bit. Outside, maybe Ludwig, if Ludwig finds his form. Outside of that, I don't see anyone else being able to catch these 3 guys. One of these 3 guys is going to play well enough to win this event. The top 3 golfers in the world are also 3 of the best drivers of the golf ball in the world. They're all in fantastic form. They're all coming off wins. Scheffler with the RBC Heritage, Rory with the Masters, Bryson from Live Korea. All 3 guys check every single box. The only one of the 3 that doesn't check a certain box is Scotty, and the box he doesn't check is the fact he's never played here in an individual stroke play event. Still, I think there's a better than 50% chance one of those guys wins. I will place that bet at plus 110. Matchup bets. I got 3 tournament-long matchup bets, and then I got 3 ball bets for the first round, and then we'll get out of here. I like Rory McIlroy, speaking of the top dogs. I do like McIlroy to beat Scheffler at minus 118. That's available at BetMGM. For the reason I just said. I think both these guys are very equal in terms of how they're playing lately, their skill set. Rory has a slight advantage this season, at least, in driving. But the biggest advantage is we have one guy who has won at Quail Hollow 4 times and one who has never played an individual event at Quail Hollow. And the only event he did play here was the 2022 President's Cup, and he sucked. He went 0-3-1 for the United States. So that's not good for Scottie Scheffler. So I think that's enough to give McIlroy a little bit of an edge. I will take him at minus 118. I will also take Ludwig Åberg at plus 105 against Colin Morikawa. Åberg's been in horrific form. He finished dead last at the Truist Championship last week, but I can't look past the course fit. If he was in good form, he'd be like probably the number 4 option in terms of the odds list. He has been in bad form, but this is a perfect course fit for him. Obviously, driving is going to be important, and he is one of the best drivers on the PGA Tour. I don't think Colin Morikawa is long enough off the tee to be able to keep pace with Åberg this week. So I'm actually a little surprised we can get Åberg at plus money. I will jump all over Åberg to beat Morikawa plus 105. And then I have Cantlay minus 105 against Joaquin Niemann. Until Joaquin Niemann contends in a major, I'm not even going to consider him at majors. He was everyone's favorite dark horse this past year, or this last month, last month. Last month of the Masters, I think I even bet him on the Masters, and he sucked. He finished like T34 or something. I'm not even going to consider Niemann until he shows he can do it at a major. Cantlay coming into this event in pretty sneaky good form. I think he was T4 last week. He gained a ton of strokes with his irons. His irons are dialed in. He's actually a lot longer off the tee than you might think. Where does he rank in distance? Yeah, not super high. But he's still fair. He's long enough off the tee that it's not going to hurt him this week. And I'm just going to fade Niemann. I'll take him minus 105. 3 ball bets for this week, for tomorrow's round. I like Ricky Fowler plus 205 against Brooks Koepka and Shane Lowry. Ricky Fowler is sneaky, actually great history at this course, 5 top 6s in his career. Quail Hollow, including a win at the 2012 Wells Fargo, T5 of the 2017 PGA Championship. Shane Lowry, I don't think, is a long enough off the tee to compete here, and that shows in his history. His T34 is his best finish in 6 starts at Quail Hollow, and Brooks is in bad form too. Hasn't finished better than T18 in 3 starts, in his last 3 starts on LIV, and he missed the cut of the Masters. So I'll take a shot. Fowler plus 250 against Koepka Lowry. I will take Min Woo Lee for the reasons I mentioned earlier at plus 170 against Corey Connors and Rasmus Højgaard. One player who I only mentioned in my Make the Cut parlay, but I like him a lot this week, Dean Burmeister, who has been one of the longest drivers of the golf ball on LIV. He's actually 5th in the field in driving distance this week. I will take him to win his first round threesome against Patrick Rogers, who sucks lately. He's finished inside the top 40 just once in his last 6 starts, and Nick Taylor, who is one of the shortest drivers of the golf ball in the field. So that's Dean Burmeister plus 150. And then Justin Thomas plus 140, who obviously is a popular pick this week to beat Collin Morikawa, who, as I mentioned earlier, I think is going to have a bad week because he's so short off the tee. And then Dustin Johnson, who's a non-factor because he's given up trying to be good at golf. So 3-ball bets. Ricky Fowler plus 250 against Koepka Lowry. Min Woo Lee plus 170 against Corey Connors and Rasmus Højgaard. Dean Burmeister plus 150 against Rogers and Taylor. Justin Thomas plus 140 against Morikawa and DJ. Those are my picks. I will tweet out this list once I get off here. I'll just tweet out the whole list so you can see them for reference. But those are my picks and my reasoning. 19 picks I got locked in for the PGA Championship. We are 18 minutes away, actually more than that because they don't drop the puck until like 15 minutes after they're supposed to, for Maple Leafs Panthers Game 5. Now we go. Leafs Panthers Game 5, PGA Championship this weekend. I'm going to Nova Scotia tomorrow morning for a bachelor party. Bachelor party this weekend. Not mine, but a bachelor party. Leafs Panthers, PGA Championship. Now we go. Good luck to all your picks this week. Gamble or bless. I'll talk to you, I don't know, whenever. Bye.